The morning began the way all absurd mornings did at the Paradiso Grand Hotel. Quiet chaos, dressed in elegance. Dahlia Quinn dragged her mop across the marbled lobby floor with theatrical flair, her earbuds in, blasting a jazz remix of Toxic by Britney Spears. She wore her usual uniform, sleek black slacks, crisp white blouse, and her signature lavender cleaning gloves, which matched absolutely nothing and annoyed absolutely everyone. Just how she liked it. Above her, a crystal chandelier worth more than her childhood home sparkled like a diamond crime scene. Around her, bellboys rushed and receptionists fumbled with tablets as guests in sunglasses checked out with hangovers and secrets. That's when she spotted it. A cart stacked high with freshly laundered spa towels had one bundle marked Priority, Room 1502. Curious. Room 1502 was unoccupied this week, booked, but no one had checked in. And Dahlia, as always, knew everything. She reached into the cart, tugging the towel out. Blood. Not soaked, just a small smear, almost surgical. Dahlia frowned, holding it to the light, then to her nose. Strawberry jam, she whispered. Or murder. She snapped on her rubber gloves. Either way, it's going in the system. A voice startled her from behind. You must be the housekeeper, said a slick man in a dark blazer. Where's the security room? Dahlia turned slowly, still holding the towel. You a guest? No. You staff? No. Then you're in the wrong hotel, sweet cheeks. The man chuckled like someone who had been on the winning end of too many bad decisions. I'm with a private firm. Surveillance consulting. Your head of security asked me to check the feed from yesterday. Name? She asked, twirling the towel. Vince. Don't worry, I've done this 100 times. Dahlia blinked. Strange. The hotel doesn't hire outside surveillance firms without Romy signing off. He looked impatient. Where's the room? Dahlia leaned in, sniffed the towel again, and dropped it on the cart. I'd start with the police station, she said, pushing past him with her mop. Vince watched her leave, smirking. But behind him, the spa cart turned, wheeled by an observant young night guard named Carlos, who had been watching the entire exchange from the front desk. Carlos wasn't supposed to be working the morning shift. He'd swapped nights with Jimmy so he could visit his sick grandma, until Jimmy texted at 5 a.m. claiming food poisoning and left Carlos holding the security desk like a soldier at an abandoned outpost. That's why he saw the man. That's why he trusted his gut. And that's why, when Vince, the supposed surveillance contractor, walked away from the lobby after Dahlia shut him down, Carlos watched him on 4 monitors until he disappeared around a corner near the elevators. Something was off. He tapped the security log. No maintenance call. No external surveillance request. No official ID shown. By the time the shift supervisor arrived, Carlos had already done something he wasn't supposed to. He made a copy of the previous day's security footage onto a USB. Just in case. Later that afternoon, Carlos was sipping hotel coffee that tasted like heated regret when Vince returned, this time not alone. A new man walked in behind him. Flashy. Big shoulders. Blue polo stretched over a badge. Las Vegas Metro Police. Where's the kid from this morning? The cop asked, walking straight to the security desk like he owned the granite counter. We've got questions about an incident involving spa staff and possible guest harassment. Carlos froze mid-sip. Name? He asked, polite but tight. Detective Brannigan. Show me the security office. Carlos hesitated. Romy wasn't here. Nobody from senior staff was, but his instinct screamed at him. Sorry, sir. I need to confirm that with management first. The cop leaned in. His breath smelled like mint and menace. You delaying a police investigation, son? Vince, beside him, grinned like a man who just found the key to the safe. That's when Dahlia's voice piped in behind them. Officer Brannigan, you should really try the tiramisu here. It's great for calming down when you're bluffing your way through a felony. They all turned. Dahlia was casually cleaning the edge of a decorative fountain. She wasn't looking at them, just scrubbing non-existent dust from the gold filigree base. Brannigan's smile faded. And you are janitorial goddess of this fine establishment. She turned slowly. And the person who just notified Romy that 2 unknown men are trying to access our CCTV room without legal documentation. She pointed at a dome-shaped camera above their heads. Smile. Brannigan scowled and straightened up. This isn't over. Never is, Dahlia chirped. But I usually mop up the ending. 20 minutes later, Carlos and Dahlia were in the linen room alone. The USB was inside a folded spa sheet, slipped between layers like a delicate secret. I don't know what's on that footage, Carlos said, handing it to her. But someone really doesn't want us to see it. Dahlia took it, turning the sheet over in her hands like a fortune teller reading palms. Then we should absolutely watch it, she said. But not here. And definitely not now. Carlos nodded. You sure you want this? Dahlia grinned, slipping the folded linen into a larger laundry bag marked, "Worn towels burn." I'm not scared of dirty laundry, she said. It's kinda my thing. That evening, Dahlia made her way to the one place in the hotel where no one ever asked questions. Chef Lena's prep kitchen. The air smelled like garlic confit, secrets and exhaustion. Dahlia stepped through the swinging doors like she owned the place, ignoring the authorized personnel only sign. Chef Lena, sleeves rolled, was plating something creamy and expensive-looking on fine china. Without even turning around, she said, "You're late." The soufflé waited, but it's not happy. I bring dessert, Dahlia said, holding up the USB like it was a golden ticket. Hotel-grade scandal, fresh from the linen cart. Chef Lena raised an eyebrow, then motioned to her laptop in the back corner, wedged between crates of heirloom tomatoes and a case of illegal French butter. They watched. The footage was grainy but clear enough. Timestamp from 2 nights ago, 2:14 a.m. A group of 3 men entered a service hallway from the loading dock, carrying a 4th man slumped between them. He looked barely conscious. One of the men slapped him. Another pulled a card key and opened the spa emergency exit door. The timestamp skipped. When the footage resumed, the men were exiting without the 4th. Chef Lena leaned in, lips thin. Whoever that guy was, he didn't walk back out. Dahlia exhaled slowly. They tried to wipe this, and they would have, if Carlos hadn't pulled the footage first. Lena shook her head. You should give this to the police. I would, Dahlia said, if the police hadn't already shown up trying to steal it. They needed allies, and not the polished, boardroom kind. So Dahlia went underground. She met Rita, the seasoned cocktail waitress, during break in the staff smoking alley. Rita was sharp, cynical, and had memorized the gambling habits of every high roller within a 5-mile radius. You want to know who those guys are? Rita asked, lighting up. Check the high-stakes room. A guy named Orson's been throwing around money like it's cursed. Real twitchy. Real new. Dahlia nodded. You got floor access? Rita flicked her lighter again, slow. I got charm. You got a plan? Dahlia smiled. Always. Back in the linen room, Dahlia assembled her crew. Carlos, the watchful guard. Chef Lena, with full access to kitchen vents and service tunnels. Rita, eyes on the gamblers and ears on the whispers. Bernard, the grumpy laundry manager who owed Dahlia a favor after she helped cover for his wine-stained uniform situation last year. They called it Operation Fluff and Fold, because they were about to wring the truth out of this hotel, one dirty towel at a time. The Paradiso Grand didn't officially offer gambling, but in Vegas, unofficially meant through the kitchen, behind the velvet curtain, and asked for the guy with the ring. Rita got Dahlia in. The back room felt like a den for rich hyenas. Designer cologne mixed with cigar smoke, the sound of chips clinking like falling glass. Dahlia moved through the tables unnoticed. Housekeeper uniform, clipboard in hand, invisible as ever. There he was, Orson. Late 40s, shiny forehead, nervous eyes, loose lips if pushed right. She circled behind him like a shark with a mop. On the screen above the table, the cards glowed, projected holographically in some new tech setup Dahlia didn't care to understand. All she saw was the fear in his jaw. Rita slid by. He's been coming here 3 nights straight. No regular hotel room. He's got a private suite on floor 22 booked under the name Roy Black. We don't have a Roy Black in the system. Dahlia's voice was low. Because it's a comped ghost room. High roller courtesy off the books. Only the owner or a bribed manager can approve those. You think it's related? I think this guy's in deeper than he wants to admit. And I think he left someone behind under the spa tiles. Back in her office, a storage closet that held equal parts bleach and mystery, Dahlia pieced it together. The man on the footage, the one being dragged, had been checked in as a security consultant from a dummy firm. He never left, but his ID was tied to an earlier bar tab. Whiskey, neat, charged to room 1502. The same unoccupied room that had sent a bloody towel to laundry. Chef Lena had already snuck into the spa's closed section through a service duct, lifted 2 floor tiles, and found what looked like scratch marks and a faint smell of bleach. And now, Dahlia knew exactly what she needed. Proof the man was dead, or proof he wasn't. Either way, she trapped the bastards. That night, she left bait. She mopped the lobby like always, but this time, she let herself be seen slipping a USB drive labeled Spa Incident Original Footage into her cleaning cart. She forgot to lock the janitor's room. She forgot to close the linen room door. She left everything just a little too easy for a desperate man looking to cover his tracks. At 3:03 a.m., the camera Dahlia planted in the mop closet caught movement. A man in a hoodie. Fast. Nervous. He rifled through the bins, skipped past the bleach, found the cart, pocketed the USB. Perfect. At 3:11 a.m., another movement. Carlos, slipping silently into the hallway just as Rita texted. He left, heading for elevator. At 3:20 a.m., Dahlia was sitting with Chef Lena and Bernard in the laundry sorting room, smiling to herself. Checkmate, Bernard asked. More like pre-wash, she said. Now we find out where that USB ends up. By morning, the fake USB Dahlia planted had made its way out of the hotel. Carlos had followed the man, Orson's twitchy errand boy, from the service elevator to a nondescript black sedan parked in valet overflow. The car had diplomatic plates. Not that it mattered, because Dahlia's USB wasn't a real copy of the footage, it was a clever little trap. Instead of damning evidence, the drive contained a copy of hotel orientation videos, including one where Dahlia gave a sarcastic training monologue about proper mop water ratios. She'd edited the file to open with a welcome screen that read, "Hi there, we know what you're looking for. Unfortunately, you're not very good at hiding it." At the end of the video it simply said, "Consider this your final rinse." The next morning, chaos unfolded quietly. The hotel's front desk received a call from an international lawyer claiming a guest's privacy had been violated. 20 minutes later, 2 men in expensive suits arrived to speak to upper management. Dahlia, of course, watched the entire thing unfold while calmly watering the fake orchids in the lobby. "I don't know who they think they're scaring," Romy muttered beside her, phone glued to one ear. "One of them asked to see our surveillance logs. I nearly choked on my gum." "They'll try anything," Dahlia said. "That's when you know they're desperate." Back in the staff hallways, Chef Lena activated Phase 2. Bernard delivered a batch of towels to room 2205, a comp suite, and inside, slipped under the tray of soaps, was the real USB hidden beneath a folded corner of spa linen. Anonymously, Dahlia sent a copy to an investigative reporter she trusted, a former guest who once watched Dahlia fix a clogged toilet while delivering a deadpan monologue about class warfare. The reporter texted one word in reply, "Boom." The footage aired 2 hours later on a niche Vegas corruption blog. By evening, it had 86,000 views and counting. The headline, "What happens in the spa? Might be a felony." That night, the hotel received a legal threat from a shell company. And then it received another. But the police, real police, also showed up. Not for Dahlia, not for Romy, but for Vince. And for Detective Brannigan, who turned out to be an ex-cop with a suspended license and a gambling debt longer than the Strip. Orson checked out that night. No tip, no trace. When Dahlia returned to the linen room that night, Carlos was waiting. "You think that's it?" he asked. "All wrapped up." Dahlia smirked, tossing her gloves into the bin. "With sheets? Never. There's always something under them." The hotel was buzzing. Not with guests, but with fear. Quiet, administrative fear. The kind that trickled down from the upper floors in clipped memos, coffee-fueled meetings, and the smell of sweat under expensive cologne. The general manager hadn't shown up. Legal was reviewing next steps. And Romy, bless her tailored blazer, was fielding calls like a Vegas bookie on fight night. Dahlia, meanwhile, sat in the staff lounge sipping a juice box. Rita burst in, still in uniform, whisper shouting, "They know it was you." "Who?" Dahlia asked, not bothering to look up. The guys upstairs. Maybe the board. Romy said there's pressure coming from above. Like, owner's circle. They think you leaked it. I didn't leak it. I disinfected it, Dahlia said, smiling. Totally different. An emergency staff meeting was called. Everyone had to attend. Even Bernard left the laundry steamer hissing alone. They gathered in the ballroom. Ironic, since no one felt like celebrating. Romy stood at the mic, eyes puffy, lip twitching. Due to recent developments, we are initiating a temporary security audit. Some policies will change. Please do not engage with press or media. Anyone with knowledge of the incident should come forward immediately. There was a hush. Dahlia raised her hand. Everyone turned. Romy visibly paled. Yes, Dahlia. Dahlia stood slowly. Will the new policies include banning towel-folding origami swans? Because I have several guests who would riot. A few staffers chuckled. Romy blinked. No. No changes to linen aesthetics. Good, Dahlia said, sitting again. Then I'll carry on. Later that day, a discreet man in an expensive coat approached Dahlia near the elevator. His lapel pin gave him away. Board rep. Miss Quinn, he said, we'd like to offer you a consulting role. Security strategy. Discreet. Well paid. Dahlia stared at him. Why? Because somehow, despite no official authority, no clearance, and zero training, you exposed something our best people missed. She sipped her juice. So your plan is to make me one of your best people? He nodded. Temporarily. Temporarily, she echoed. Like, 10 years of backbreaking labor was just my training montage. The man hesitated. Is that a no? It's a hell no, but thank you for playing. Dahlia pressed the elevator button. I already run this place, sweetheart. I just prefer bleach over a briefcase. The doors opened. She stepped inside. As they slid shut, she added, Tell the suits I said thanks for the raise, though. I'll take it in cash or cafeteria vouchers. Dahlia's legend had already been growing in quiet corners of the hotel, spoken in whispers between folded towels and espresso shots. But after the footage went viral, after the fake cop was cuffed in the valet lane, and after Orson vanished like a bad Yelp review, the legend turned solid. Now it was real, and it had a fan club. The low-level staff came to her one by one, the new dishwasher with a stammer and a black eye that he said was from a fall. The front desk clerk who had memorized every VIP alias but couldn't afford her asthma meds. The pastry chef's cousin who was about to be fired because she didn't smile enough. They didn't ask for revenge. They just asked if Dahlia could look into things. Just check. Just poke around. So she did. Quietly, like always. No cape. Just gloves and grit. Chef Lena got access to the employee time logs. Rita pulled spa service orders. Carlos cracked the secure supply closet that somehow had more bugs than bleach. Turns out, Orson had friends still in the system. Some high, some hidden. The cops weren't the only ones who tried to wipe that spa tape, and those friends were already shifting their tactics. Pressure, manipulation, whispers of cost cuts and schedule reviews that only ever targeted the night crew and immigrants. So Dahlia made a new plan. This time, not just to expose, but to fortify. In a staff-only hallway, Dahlia led a secret meeting. Folding chairs, bad coffee, real stakes. We don't fix the top, she told them. That's too far gone. We fortify the bottom. We network. We protect each other. We make the system a maze they can't map. Carlos asked, So what do we call ourselves? Dahlia smiled. The undersheets. Laughter. Relief. Unity. Because under the beds and behind the curtains, there was a quiet army now. Invisible to the guests, underestimated by the bosses, and led by a woman who once unclogged a VIP toilet with a spatula and zero complaints. She didn't want power. She wanted protection. For the ones who'd never get a seat at the table. And if that meant war under the sheets, so be it. The hotel returned to its usual rhythm, polished silverware, polite smiles, and the persistent hum of secrets beneath it all. To the casual eye, nothing had changed. But the linen closets had eyes now. The pantry had ears. And the old service elevator had a new security camera, installed by Dahlia and rigged to notify her personal burner phone. In the lobby, Romy found her mid-manicure behind the concierge desk, filing her nails like the place wasn't under daily siege from egos and lawsuits. "You know," Romy said, exhaling, "I had a dream last night that you became GM. Woke up in a cold sweat. I'd unionize before lunch and replace all your meeting chairs with bean bags," Dahlia deadpanned. "You'd never survive." Romy rubbed her temples. "And yet somehow you keep us alive." Dahlia raised her eyes, slightly mock-serious. "It's the citrus-scented mop water. Builds immunity." Later that day, as she restocked Guest soaps with deliberate laziness, the young guard Eddie approached. "They're leaving. The suits. All of them. Quiet exits. Black cars. You think it's over." Dahlia shut the supply closet with a soft clunk. "Nothing's over. But we've got the sheets. And the sheets have us." Eddie grinned, unsure whether to laugh or salute. He walked away, whistling. That evening, as Dahlia clocked out, the HR door creaked open. Romy stepped out, holding a clipboard and a worried look. "Before you go," she said, "you're getting a new supervisor next week." Straight from the board, Dahlia narrowed her eyes. "Fresh meat." Romy sighed, bright-eyed, idealistic. "Probably thinks conflict resolution is a skill that works on you." Dahlia walked backward toward the exit, already smirking. "Well, then," she called over her shoulder, "tell him to bring good shoes." Romy raised an eyebrow. Dahlia winked. "And be easy on him.